So, just so you know about the history, on the last edition we got here Ria, and she is friend of ours as well. And then me and Leandro, he invited me to come down for a poetry night in Guildhall School of Music. And then I saw this guy. Peace! So yeah, man, just to start, just introduce yourself, say everything you want to say. You're welcome to be here, open.
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Ace. It's amazing to be here. Thank you so much, Tiago and Leandro, for having me. Thank you so much to everyone who's performed and will perform today. Like, you guys are amazing. Mariny, like Dilara, oh god, Elisa.Artemis, like, and you know, Made in Brasil bar, like, absolutely very special. Very special. Yeah, I've only just started performing in the last year. And yeah, this is my first feature set, so I'm quite nervous, so apologise.
Before you start,
get your breath as well.
before you start, can I just make some questions for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, how do you feel? Because for me and for Leandro, we are quite new as well in London in the poetry community. But how do you feel, and what do you know about the poetry community in London? If you want to share something with us, I saw you like here in Englistan as well, in another place. So, how do you feel about the poetry community in London?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're quite lucky in London because everyone's so welcoming. There's like an open mind, like east, west, north, south, everywhere in London. It's insane. And all the poets and all the audience members of whatever open mic that you go to, they're so lovely. So definitely encourage you guys to go more, learn about each other's cultures, have a conversation, speak to poets after the event, before the event. Like, it's such a good way to connect with people and like hear stories that aren't necessarily told in like mainstream media. So yeah, and like this is such a unique event, like mixing language. I've never heard of anything like this. So again, thank you so much.
Nice, man.
And thank you so much to everyone that's here.
Really nice, because it was like, just my next question was like, how do you feel like about mixed language? And you see something is like before in London, so you just, yeah, man, thank you very much for coming. And yeah, take your time and do your show. Please guys, make some noise for you.
So yeah, I've got several short poems. It's a mixture of Urdu and English poetry. So yeah, there you go. मैं कौन हूँ? Who am I? Muhajir, immigrant. I am a second generation immigrant whereby one of my parents was born in another country, the other was brought up here, and I was born in here, England's capital city. And when I trace back my mixed heritage, I find bloodlines from different countries and relatives. So it's just easier to call me British Pakistani. Magar main nahi hu, but I'm not really. See, I'm too British to be Pakistani because of the English twang in my Urdu. Even though I understand the language perfectly, my cousins would still mock my pronunciation. Kya baat kar rahe hain? Urdu aate hain? Buddu? Hey stupid, can you speak Urdu? What the hell is that communication? And I'm too Pakistani to ever be considered British. I mean, all it takes is one good look at my face. No matter how well I can speak the Queen's English, I will always be part of the Asian race. बदतमीज का बच्चा एक थप्पड़ लगाऊंगे. Disrespectful boy, I will slap you. Is what my parents would tell me as a child. Badai, बहुत जोर से. Used to smack me so hard. Now I look back at it all with a smile. Because even though I loved them and knew they were always wanted the best for me, they could never understand that pain I had to consume like a vitamin. That dard of figuring out my identity as a new hybrid product of my environment. The same environment that asked me to choose between my Pakistan flag and the Union Jack. The same environment pushing me to defend all Muslims after every terrorist attack. The same environment that calls me a coconut to my face and a suicide bomber behind my back. The same environment hiding my self-love like a needle in a haystack. Now I've embraced it and chosen to share my life with you all, mixing both my parents' tongue and this first language of mine through rhyme. I guess that makes me a poet. Or should I say in Urdu, a Shayar. So I hope you enjoy my poetry. Or shall I say in Urdu, my Shayari. guys on like Instagram, Facebook, and everything. Like all their socials, Projeto N'Calma. You can find all their stuff if you go on Instagram. Like please follow them.
Follow him.
Hey!
Both.
I would put I can't remember everyone's Instagram handles. I would. If you ever want to chat to me afterwards, you can relate to anything that I say. Follow me on Instagram and have a conversation. Mine's at A's Poetry, so AIZ Poetry. Yeah. This poem is called Drowning. I will recite this fully in Urdu and then translate it in English afterwards if you guys are interested. मैं डूब रहा हूँ शोलों के लहरें मेरे सीने में पवस्त हो रही हैं मेरी सांसें उखड़ रही हैं कुछ नहीं बस मौत मेरे वजूद में बस गई है खाली ये है हकीकत क्या यही मेरे इख्तिताम है क्या मेरे अंदर कुव्वत होती कि मैं तैर सकूं बहुत दूर इस झूठ के समंदर से इस तशद्दुद के समंदर से और मैं इस जहन्नुम के पास ही से निकला ये लहरें मुझको खींचती है अंधेरे की तरफ यहाँ तक कि मैं जहन्नुम के दरोगा से जा मिला उसने मेरे वजूद के झुंझुर के रख दिया मैं नेक इंसान नहीं हूँ शायद मैं कभी नहीं था मगर मेरी कोशिश है कि मेरी नीयत नेक हो मगर मैं इसमें नाकाम हो गया जैसे आप सब लोग ने मुझको पाया मुझको तोड़ दो इन कसीबी जंजीरों से मुझे वो सारी तरीका बताओ जिससे मैं अपने आप को बदल सकूं निकाल दो मुझे इस हश्र के मैदान से तो फिर कोई मुझको पहचान ना सके मैं सुबह के तुलू होने से पहले आज की रात जिंदा रहना चाहता हूँ and in English it is I'm drowning waves of flames fill my lungs need to breathe gasping I taste nothing but death on my tongue is this it is this the end for me wish I was more fit to swim off away from this sea of deceit torture and hellish embrace pulling me down more and more until it's the underworld's gatekeeper I face. And they expose my core. I'm not a good person. I don't think I ever have been. I tried with good intention, but obviously failed, as they have seen. Break me until my shackles are tight. Teach me the possibilities of reform with all your might. I want to get out of here, out of sight. Though, before I see the next day, I need to live through the night. So today, as today is World Mental Health Day, yay. Give me a cheer if you or anyone that you know has been affected by poor mental health. Damn. Yeah, this one's called Serotonin.
Yeah.
We love serotonin.
How do I start this? How can I phrase this? This chemical is driving me to write such a long-winded list. A list of every way it's affected me since I could first feel and think. It's called serotonin, and I found my relationship with it so interesting. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter traveling around every single one of our bodies. The serotonin I'm on about is one manufactured in our brain, a chemical that helps regulate our mood, man, and that's a real ball and chain. When its levels are normal, you're emotionally stable, calm, and focused. Because it mainly contributes to our feelings of well-being and happiness. Happiness. Happy. Am I happy? Are you happy?
Yeah.
I don't know about you. Well, I question my happiness on a daily, trying to figure out if it's legit. My low self-esteem and negative thoughts able to dip my big man ting confidence and optimism more than I hate to admit. The same dip I see kids trying to do to each other now with arm-length knives. We scroll through filmed attacks on our timeline and I cry when they don't care for their lives. Liking a laugh nowadays is worth more than being covered in blood to drown. For me, that's already cut more serotonin down. Hitting a ball after each friend of mine dying, down. Getting cheated on after falling for someone, down. Silencing the pain after attempts on my life I've made, down. So, A's, do you want the opposite of down? Try these antidepressants. They'll keep you smiling and make sure you never frown. Finally admitting to myself what I suffer with is more powerful than a diagnosis, full stop. Even though it's not clear whether low serotonin levels are what cause depression or whether depression causes serotonin levels to drop. The reality remains that this noisy, romanticised illness is involved with its chemical imbalance. So I suppose SSRIs are just what the doctor ordered: selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, blocking reabsorption of serotonin so our brain increases levels of these neurotransmitters. Over a long period of time, being prescribed different doses of each, from citalopram to sertraline, to try and make my mental health feel less like the bumpers of a pinball machine. Sure, they made me more sociable than the extrovert I usually am, butterflying around different social circles to get to know every human I could. But their side effects sure toyed with my anxiety disorder. Panic attacks waking me up in cold sweats over dead friends who can't ever grow up to see adulthood. The counselling I sought and learning to confide in others has helped me more than I could have realised. Two big things in my life that for some reason I always stigmatised. Now I internally highlight the little things in life, increasing my serotonin levels further up. Like when the beat drops in the club, up. Like when I'm with someone I'm into and we both reach a climax, up. Like when I skateboard down a hill and feel the wind combing through my hair, up. So much that's up and so much that I'm grateful for. Right now I think I have the right balance of serotonin, so do I really need any more? Maybe in future I'll need to have different doses of SSRIs. Maybe I won't. The future does carry uncertainty and surprise. So it's the present I focus on. I don't think in ahead, I just don't. But if you who's listening think you might need this kind of quick fix, seek help straight away and do enough research to avoid the wrong kind of mix. This world of mental health is not something that you're alone in. At least you know now, I'm here for you with my poem on serotonin. Also, because we're like in, thank you again, like Made in Brasil bar for having us. I mean, we've got a lot of love for Tiago, my brother, and Leandro, like Brazilian love. Give me a cheer if you guys believe in climate change. Give me a cheer if you guys believe we should do something about climate change. Good, because Brazil's Amazon rainforest was burning for more than 3 weeks and I barely had any outcry. I could only find a few articles on it one night from journalist leaks. I mean, how did the mainstream media turn such a blind eye? One of the most important ecosystems in the world, the Amazon is a vital carbon store that slows down the pace of global warming. Still, farmers start wildfires to illegally deforest land for cattle ranching like it's normal. I finally cut down on eating meat at the start of this year to help save planet Earth. But people care more about Notre Dame burning with billionaires rushing to give it more worth. Why do you people care for such materialistic things like money, tourism and buildings? Nature is the very thing keeping you alive, yet you don't care if it's deprived. All the things you work your whole life for will be gone. It's all meaningless if you don't have a sustainable planet to live on. We all need to fix up and spread the word, our societies, governments and our media. Climate change is real. This is an emergency here and now. I still pray for Amazonia.
Yes.
Thank you everyone for being here again. I've got one last poem. This will be my last poem. And again, if you can relate to anything, please drop me a message or speak to me. I'd love to have a conversation. Love you all. It's one of the first poems I wrote. Beda of Jhoot ne bolo, which in my native language Urdu means son, you must not tell lies. So fuck it, I wrote out this one last true story in an attempt for you to visualize. Not to glamorize or antagonize, but to recognize my reality that will never be televised. This one night I'm in the club doing a little two-step shuffle, trying but failing to dance away the memory of seeing Grenfell Tower burn down a few months prior. Remembering my fallen friends classed as missing was always going to be a struggle. And I see this guy touching girls' bums, we've been married to the crowd on a dance floor like wildfire. And I get punched for pulling him to the side and educating him on consent. Because if we don't call out our own behaviour, then we'll be hearing of cases a lot worse than just sexual harassment. Beda of Jhoot ne bolo. I'm hitting the button again since no one wants to listen to me. Abusing the booze like we abuse the earth, and reducing climate change is an act the government refuses to choose. Stumbling back home and I get this call making me realise red is the colour I now see whenever I think of my friend. Red is the hijab of that 19-year-old girl so beautifully wrapped around her head. Red is the car that kidnaps a hysterical, gagged up body full of dread. Red is the eyes of her uncle, raping her and twisting his knife into her innocent throat. Red is the floor trail to the freezer holding her sliced up limbs spilling. Red is the TV news logo forever falsely branding innocent on a killing. Red is my heart, filled with anguish and despair over a friend I'll never see again. My cheeks, soaked in tears and streams of a good girl next door memory. My teeth, gritting together as silent screams to wake up the rest of my family. My brain, rejecting the label of Islam being a terrorist religion when it's really a religion of peace. My ears, fading the rest of the world out in silence as my faith in humanity begins to decrease. My hands, they tremble, shiver like an earthquake riddled with goosebumps on a winter's day revealing its deepest fear. Just as it did each time I attempted and failed to commit suicide last year. Losing myself like Slim Shady, knees weak, arms were heavy, so close to leaving this world. My friends, my mum's biryani, I'm nervous. As depressed and anxious as I tried to tell my parents for the first time. But beta ab jhoot nahi bolo. Do you know what it's like growing up in an Asian culture that teaches you to bottle it up and refuses to believe in mental health downright? Beta ab jhoot nahi bolo. Do you know what it's like having survivor's guilt from 11 friends' funerals over a 9-month blight? Beta ab jhoot nahi bolo. Do you know what it's like waking up in cold sweats, wishing the pillow you slept on and smothered you in the night? Beta ab jhoot nahi bolo. I could have used these few world words minutes to recite effervescent metaphors and similes about scenery or heartbreak. But here I am sharing the reality of slitting my wrist this way rather than that way. Because I decided I'm just not going to be that kind of poet. I am the sacrificed voice for the voiceless and marginalized, but low self-esteem means I've only articulated these thoughts to a live audience a handful of times before. I am that curry-munching, packy cockroach from ends, finally exposing my naked thoughts, but exposing my naked body and stopping the search is what airports still adore. I am the reminder that you share with your close ones to love each other, love yourselves, and communicate regularly, as if it's the last thing I say in chat. I am A's, and you've just listened to my entire life. So tell me, where's the fucking line at? Thank you.
Yes, guys, make some noise. Ace. Again,